So one thing about building a real estate investing portfolio is at the end of the day, you got to get some deals. Where do deals come from? Well, typically you got to talk to people who have property to sell or people who can refer you people with property to sell. That's creating a network. If you do that well, you create riches from your network. And the coaches helped me learn how to do this for my business. And I'm excited to share with you today is Casey Eberhart. Casey, thanks so much for coming on our call today.
Bill, I'm so excited. I've been jonesing and excited about this one all day long. I'm super excited.
Now, the joke is because every call I ever do with you, you're super excited. So if you're only super excited, that's kind of average for you. Well, number one. Number
two, for those, day. It's a low day.
Number two, normally I might go with a tighter shot here, but if I do, you guys will miss the googly eyes over his left shoulder that just freak me out. So why does he have it there? He has it there to get your attention when he's talking to you. So there you go. So Casey, now in addition to being a networking coach, which is really where I came in with you, you also you're very active as a real estate investor, and coaching other people, and as well, you have a community of real estate investors. So let's start with that. Let's talk about your community of real estate investors and what you can do to help people looking to meet more people in that space.
Yeah, here's the thing, Bill. My entire career has been built on businesses. I consult, buy, sell, acquire, dispose of, consult with, grow, everything around business. I have not had a W-2 income check since 1993, right? And what I recognize throughout all of that experience is that it really comes down to the network, right? And in 2006 into 7, when I really started building my real estate portfolio back then from an investor standpoint, it was all network. I was building out in Las Vegas. And at the time, that town operates on who knows you. It's not even necessarily who you know, but it's who knows you, right? And because of understanding that to build a network, the thing that I've always taken kind of as the number one rule is be the guy. Be the guy and don't be a weirdo, right? And so when I say be the guy, I mean be the most valuable guy in the room, be the most valuable girl in the room, no matter where you are, no matter who's in the room. And then just don't be a weirdo. And if you can really wrap your head around both of those, things just work out, right? So I built, at one point in Las Vegas, I had control of 160 unbuilt lots, which I promptly turned around and sold over the next 2 hours. And then got out of that entire deal. I think we kept like 20 houses and built those out. I had a bunch of condos out in Las Vegas, and it was all who knew you, right? Because investors are not unlike any other profession. Investors know other investors. And so many deals get done backdoor or through agents or through brokers or through insurance agents or through title escrow loan officers, because there's just a group of people that are getting stuff done, and he or she who's the most valuable pretty much wins. I mean, even today, I've put in 4 offers in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
And it's because I have my underwriting criteria, which I'm happy to talk about, but I have my underwriting criteria, and they all came out of people in my network.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I know that, like me, you go to network events as well as host them. And when I go to them, I see like 90% of people, I think, why are they even here? Like you can't go to a network event for the coffee or the lunch, right? It's not that good. You're going there theoretically to generate business, but most people make some fundamental errors. You've taught me some of the tips. So share with us on the call today. What are some tips on how to be more valuable, how to be the guy or gal when you go to an event?
Well, Bill, I mean, let's just start completely out of focus and kind of bring it into focus. We'll focus on these eyes if you want.
Freaking me out.
The funny thing, everybody, is Bill did a hilarious 1-minute video on my Facebook page. And it's so hilarious because he's such a calm, collected dude. And then he just completely loses it over the eyes in the background. It was hilarious. I watch the video all the time. It's hilarious. But Bill, here's the thing. Most people go to a networking event with no purpose and no intention. And we can start with that is the fundamental problem, right? A lot of things could change if people would just take some fundamental steps towards being on purpose and with intention. For example, if you are trying to network with a particular type of person or a particular type of industry, or you're trying to get customers for your business or whatever, maybe we should first make sure that those folks are at the event, right? So it always is kind of crazy to me. It's like, oh, I want to network with restaurant owners. Okay, and then I'm going to go to my local Chamber of Commerce event where there's a whopping 3 restaurants that are members versus the restaurant association meeting that's in your town, right? Or, oh, I really want to meet event planners because they'll help me do X. Okay, well, are you going where the event planners hang out? Because I know where they're not hanging out, B&I, right? So when I say it's got to be on purpose and with intention, it's like, I've got an intention. Who am I actually trying to network with? Why am I actually trying to go there? And then once I go there, do I have a plan?
Right.
And to your point, the rubber chicken dinners aren't very good. The Dixie cup of wine that you're going to pay $7 for in the back of the room ain't the best wine. So why go? Well, you're going to be of value and be of service in the room. And hopefully, fingers crossed, although hope is not a strategy, be in front of people who know the people that you want to be with or are the people you want to be with. And so it is so critically important. And then on top of that, just as a side note, don't be a weirdo. Like, don't show up, get drunk, have cat hair all over your body, wear a suit that's 4 sizes too big or too small, and then run around and like hand out your business card to 50 people that don't want it. Like, there are just some fundamental things that we can do that increase the likelihood that we're going to be seen as somebody who adds value. You know, one thing that can be done really easy is show up early and help the organizers set up. Seems crazy, but the organizers know everyone in the room and they are the most influential people in the room. Right. So let's say Bill and I are both probate brokers and we're looking for some probate business and we're going to our local Chamber of Commerce, and Bill rocks in or I walk in and I'm just talking to anyone that'll listen. I'm trying to shake hands and pass out my business and I'm talking probate and, you know, I think I know what's going on. And Bill walks in and he's friends with the organizer. He helped him bring in stuff, helped him get it set up. And there's one lead source in the room. And let's just say this lead source is a probate attorney. That's like, just like everybody knows, like if they could crack this lady and get in her good graces, like she's got more business or whatever. So Bill's just like, you know, or I'm just like thirsty and I'm like up all over her and I'm trying to get her a drink and I'm trying to be flirty and I'm trying to be like that guy. And Bill goes to the organizer and says, hey, can you introduce me to, you know, Dr. Karen over here? And the organizer then says, yeah, of course. Walks over and says, hey, Dr. Karen, I want you to meet Bill Gross. At that moment, I have lost the game. Bill has won the game. Easy to do.
Yeah.
Most people won't, because most people are trying to just get in the room and like shotgun approach it rather than really be on purpose and with intention. I'll give you another one, Bill. This one I've been doing for years and I never really even talked about it or shared it or told people about it until I was at an event where it got to be made like this huge deal and it was like so easy. So here's the thing. We all know that when we go to events, most of the time there's a speaker. And that speaker is going to do some speaking engagement, 15, 20 minutes. They're either going to invite people to buy a book of theirs, they're going to sell a course, or they're going to ask for sponsorship or something. So here's an easy way to cut through all the noise. You simply, before the event, go buy 3 copies of the speaker's book. It's very strategic. Remember, we're on purpose here and with intention. 3 copies of the book. When the speaker arrives, you go up to the speaker, introduce yourself to the speaker and say, hey, I'm super excited to have you here. I know you may not know everybody in the room. If there's anybody in here that you want to meet, I'll make sure that I help you introduce them. But I bought 3 copies of your book and I was wondering if I could get you to autograph all 3. Let me tell you why there's 3. Number 1, I'm selfish and I want to learn from you. So I want you to autograph a copy to me. And if there's some cool passage in the book that you really think it would be valuable for me, like, let's highlight it. Here's a Sharpie. and autograph that to me. The second is my top client is amazing, and I think she would really, really value from your book as well. So I'm actually going to ask you to autograph it for her, and I'm going to send it to her when we're done. And the third one, I'm going to have you autograph, but I'm going to give it to the organizers and let them give it away as a raffle prize or a drawing or whatever at the end of the day.
And the books cost $20 a piece.
Max.
And you're there for a couple hours. So I always like, well, what's your time worth? A lot more than the books.
Well, it's not even the book. The book is irrelevant because what it does is, number one, it gives you instant access and rapport with the speaker. And the speaker is the one that is going to have the microphone, pure and simple. And
they love you when you have the book. And they love signing the books.
Never, by the way, I have never, not one time, ever done this where the speaker has not highlighted me during their presentation. Ever. Right. It's never happened. Yeah. And even if the speaker kind of does it as a throwaway, like, oh, you know, Casey had me do this, blah, 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 blah. Here's the second chance. The second chance is the opportunity for the organizers now to have a door prize. They're going to obviously say, hey, this book was donated by Casey. He had the speaker autograph it. It's now I'm capturing attention from a way I could never do it.
Right. So this is a technique you've trained people in the networking as well, and that to constantly be praising and supporting other people, right? Everybody 100%. Else you go to networking groups, it's all, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, I do that. And we're all just like, oh my God, please, next. And yet people, I can tell the people who are in your program because they'll say, hey, I just really want to thank Casey for inviting me here today. He's got a great program, Networking Riches. If you're interested, it's coming up. I have the link for it. Thanks, Casey. And that's it. And you go, wow, look at that person praising somebody else. Now I know who Casey is, but who's this person that's so giving of themselves? That's who I want to meet, right?
Yeah. I mean, well, let's take a step back. So here's what Bill's talking about is when you stand up and you give your 30-second commercial. So we're taught not to just go and sell and sell and sell at a chamber event. And then they make you stand up and do a 30-second commercial, which is literally the definition of taking 30 seconds and selling, right? So here's what's happening. Like, let's be real. Nobody's paying attention to you because they're either completely panicked because they don't know what to say into a microphone that's about to come to them, or they've already stood up and they feel like their job is done. And now they've just taken a big, deep breath, let it out, and now they're back to slopping up their breakfast, right? Like, that's the dynamic. So if you get there early and if you meet people and if you like the organizer or the speaker or the people that are of influence, or I don't know, let's go back to say Dr. Karen, our earlier example of the probate attorney that Bill and I are both competing for, right? Well, here's what you guys do. This is so easy. Now, when the microphones come to you to stand up, instead of saying, hi, my name is Bill Gross, I'm with EXP and I'm a probate realtor. Bill stands up and says, hey, everybody, I am so excited to be here. My name is Bill. And I want to just let you know that if you have not had a chance to talk to Dr. Karen about probate and getting your stuff in order when something bad happens, you really ought to. Dr. Karen, where are you? Oh, cool. Will you stand up, Dr. Karen? Okay. Anybody that doesn't have a probate plan or has ever needed a probate attorney or has ever needed an appointment, you must go talk to Dr. Karen right now. So thank you, Dr. Karen. I appreciate you. It was great getting to know you. It was great getting a chance to meet with you. I'm super excited that I'm meeting with you like as soon as we're done. So thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day. And I sit down. The only person that's listening directly is Dr. Karen. Number one, you just did for her what she can't do in her own 30-second commercial. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, like Bill said, everybody's now looking at you going, well, wait a minute. Who's that guy? And how do I get him to do that for me?
Exactly.
Right. And number three, the minute you sit down, someone's going to say anyways, well, what do? You didn't tell us what you did, because it's just a weird adult banter for whatever reason. You go, you know what? This isn't really about me, but I'm happy to share with you as soon as we're done. Come talk to me. And now you've created an attraction mode. Right.
Because you want people to come to you, right? That's the whole dynamic's turned around when they come to you. I think that when I've been to the networking event that you host at the Sizzler in Van Nuys on Wednesdays at 11:15 or so. I used to go every week. I go once in a while there now. But an interesting dynamic was other realtors would stand up and say, oh, hi, I specialize in first-time home buyers, investors, single-family homes, condos, duplexes, fourplexes, fiveplexes, eightplexes, industrial, commercial, retail, and I also sell bridges. And they sit down and I think, my God, what do they do? Like, and so what you taught me was I talk about, now I might do multiple things,
Yep.
but I talk about the one that's gonna get their attention for them to come up and say, well, tell me about that. What's probate real estate? I don't know what that is, right?
But,
it's like sexy and they want to talk to me because I don't do everything. I just do one thing.
Right. But let's peel the curtain back a little bit. So Bill's telling you bits and pieces of the story. So I'm going to fill it in a little bit. First off, Bill can't come to the Sizzler more often because if he does, he's going to get mobbed. And he's now a major celebrity there. Like he rolls in there and people think it's like, you know, Taylor Swift and Madonna are doing a concert. But that's because he's provided so much value that now when he shows up, everybody just swarms over to him. Right. So you go, well, how did he get to be that celebrity status? Well, at the end of the day, he showed up week in and week out, always answering questions, always making other people feel good, always highlighting other people. And then he did something that every other real estate agent could do and none of them do, which is, hey, if you got questions, like I'm down at the courthouse all day, come on down. Like, come on down and hang out with me for a day. I'll introduce you around. I'll show you some people. I'll introduce you. I'll answer questions. All of us could do this. Hey, I'm going to be at Starbucks at 10 a.m. on Thursdays. If you got any questions, come on down. I like to talk about properties and pints or whatever. Come on down. And so what Bill really did was he set up people knowing that he was there. He was consistent, knowing that he was there to add value. He was adding value. And he would share his successes and he would share his challenges with the group in a completely authentic way and made people feel attracted to him rather than pushed to him. And because of that, he now, like, no joke, the last time he showed up to Sizzler, like I walk in, like you just hear the buzz throughout the whole restaurant. I'm like, oh, Bill must be in town. And I look back. And it's and here's the other side benefit of that or extra benefit of that. And Bill, I know I'm using you as an example, but this is like textbook case of what happens. Bill's given so much value to that group that now when he shows up, the organizer of that group, literally there's time at the end for them to do some activity or exercise or whatever. Well, what does he do? Bill, come on up and share 5 things that are going on in the marketplace. What Bill's just effectively done is cut out every other agent that's in the room. And he's not on purpose and he's not trying to be a jerk about it. It's who he is. And if you guys are part of his tribe and his community, you know what value he brings. He brings it everywhere.
Well, it's also that, frankly, you kind of gave me a game plan that I've worked on consistently and just in a couple of years turns things around. So I do host a couple events. It is interesting. Like I host an event once a month. It's the first Wednesday of the month. So July 5th. It's at the All Season Brewery, 5:30, 7:30. I moved it from Thursdays to Wednesday. Come and have free beer on me. If you're a real estate agent, either register or bring your business card, free beer. And I get about 20 people show up. So I'm there. I drive for half an hour. I'm there for about an hour and a half. I come home. So about a 2-hour time period. And I meet about 20 people. And they're all coming to meet me theoretically. And I buy 10, 15 beers or something. And people say like, well, how do you build your business? And I say, just look around. Did you notice there's 20 people here who want to meet me? Now, I didn't do much more than put out the event and market it and email and such. And the goal though is to, I think what you've done is give me some methods to create where people want to get together and talk about whatever they want to talk about. And I'm there for that. So
Bill, I mean, look, it's here's the thing. If I used to ask this question at presentations, and it wouldn't matter if there were 4 people in a presentation or 20,000 people in the presentation, I would get the same answer every single time. And it was, who is the most powerful woman in the world? The most powerful woman in the world. And I got the same answers everywhere I went.
It's amazing. That's an amazing question.
Well, because it really makes people think, okay, he's being very specific. Powerful woman, on a global scale, right? Now, here's what happens. Once in a while, someone will say Beyonce or Taylor Swift or Ellen DeGeneres. Once in a while, they will mention the First Lady of the United States. But more so when it was Michelle than Jill, just because of a higher, lower profile. Number one, overwhelming response was Oprah Winfrey. Oprah just became influential. That's it. That's what she sells. And so when she walks into a room, like Bill said, people are there to meet her, right? When Bill puts an event together, they are there to meet Bill. When people go to a meeting that you set up, they're there to meet you. Now, they might meet other people, and there's all that going on for sure. But subconsciously and consciously, they are there to meet the guy, the gal that's in charge.
And how do you create an event that's 20 people? Well, you create an event that starts with 1. And they go from 1 to 2, and 1 to 2 to 3.
Bill hasn't told you that for months he went down to that brewery and just had a beer by himself. And he finally, no.
Well, actually, I did something that you taught me, just to bring it around again. No, that's not really true. I went to somebody else's event, got there early, met people, and then when the event organizer dropped the event, I said, well, that makes no sense. There's 20 people here. I'll just carry it on. Same with the meetups. You got me into the meetup mode, and all of a sudden, a meetup organizer canceled their meetup. I said, well, that doesn't make sense. There's 500 people in this group. I'll take it over. And so I just happened to be in the spot, trying to be the guy. And next thing you know, I was the guy. But that beer thing, I just took over somebody else, actually.
Well, I think you were intentional and on purpose.
Yes, for sure.
Look, Bill grows his business in 2 ways, right? Bill grows his business, number one, in serving his customers buy and sell real estate.
Yep.
Right? Like, that's pretty pure and simple. But Bill also has the opportunity to help grow an organization that he gets to train and work with, that also he gets to pass leads to, he gets to pass business to, he gets to work with and mentor and give back and create community and create a team of other producers that can follow in his footsteps and have the same level of success that he does. In order for him to do that, he has to step into a leadership role at some point.
Right.
And what I think a lot of agents don't do is step into creating their own community. They're kind of complicit in being part of everybody else's community. So even in the investor, I'm sorry, Bill, just even in the investor space, right? Here's what I know about investors. Investors know other investors.
Yep.
Deals happen backdoor through investors all the time.
Yep.
So when I decided to really get back into the investing game, first thing I did was I started a Facebook group for real estate investors. Pretty simple. Secondly, I went out and I listed out all the people I knew that I thought were really great investors. And I started talking to them, interviewing them, going to their classes, buying their courses, going to their masterminds, joining all of that. Next, I was like, okay, get some meetup groups. So I started getting all the meetup groups that I could get my hands on. Right now, I have a portfolio of about 70 meetup groups. We've got about 110,000 people in those meetup groups. So that's over a couple of years. So it's not just super easy. But then I was like, okay, I'm doing a meetup once a month. As soon as we get 30 people, a couple of months, we'll do it twice a month, then 4 times a month. And what's come of that is deal flow.
Right.
Like it's, and I'm sure other people at the meetup are getting deals and doing deals, but I got to tell you, at that moment in those 2 hours, I'm the guy. Bill's the guy.
I think that's a big misnomer of people in real estate. As investors, they imagine, well, I just have to be invisible. And then when I see a deal, I'll just run in, write a check, run out again. To me, what you showed me, and I think all great investors I've ever seen have built organizations that bring them deal flow, right? And help monetize the search for properties, because it takes time and effort to look at a lot of properties. Once they pass on, other people will take over. And then people bring them the good deals, and 1 out of 50, 1 out of 100, they'll say, well, I'll take that one. But they're getting 100 deals to look at versus most people don't even look at 100 in the course of a year.
Well, and not only that, yes, you're getting to look at those 100 deals. And let's say you only take down 1 or 2 or 3 of them. That gives you 97 other opportunities to help somebody else market their properties, help somebody else make a referral if they need. I'm in a WhatsApp group with a bunch of investors, and somebody quickly needed a pool guy, right? And people were like, oh, I have no idea, because this is down in Texas, right? And everyone's like panicked because nobody knows a pool guy in this WhatsApp group. So what did I do? This is talk about being on purpose. I went to an amazing website. It's called Google, and I typed in pool service, blah, 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 in the city. I went and I grabbed the top 3 rated pool service companies, and I dropped them in the WhatsApp group. I said, I'm not down there. I just went and found these 3. Here were their reviews. You guys would have thought that I had like dropped gold bricks on these people's head. I went to Google. What I'm setting up is that the next time they need something, they contact me.
You're the guy.
I want to be the guy. I want to be the resource. Yeah. And if I can't do the deal, or I don't like the deal, or it doesn't meet my criteria, I can say, oh, you know what? My friend Bill will take it, or my friend Robert will take it, or, oh my gosh, my friend Jason down in Florida, this is like right in his zone. You help another investor offload a deal, not through you, but to somebody else in your network. They're coming to you first time every single time.
You're their best friend for life.
Yep.
I neglected to say, if you're watching this online, we got people on YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn. Feel free to put your comments in the comment section. If we get this live during the call, I'll give them to Casey, or we'll answer the question for you. If you're watching the recording, I'll pick it up afterwards. I see Annabelle Checo watching us on YouTube says you're amazing. I'll assume she's talking to me and not to you, Casey. I don't know.
I'm sure she was talking to you.
Annabelle's an example of somebody, because I'm gonna who's in my network, who I try to be her Casey, right? So I'm learning from you, and then I use that information and leverage it by teaching it to the people on my team, one of which was Annabelle. And I said to her, Annabelle, you need to have a podcast. If you, at the time she wanted to do more multifamily investing, I said, well, then you need to do a podcast on multifamily investing. That way you reach out to people with projects, you can vet them on your call, you can see how they act and evaluate if you invest with them or not. They're going to bring you deals because you have the podcast. You can recruit other people into our team as a result of having the podcast. So it's come to me a natural, you be in her case, not the guy, but the gal. And she resisted. And I think somehow people who want to invest think there's something different between marketing and investors. But when you think of all the big real estate investors have huge marketing operations of some sort, coaching, building, educating, networking people. Why do they fight a case? I don't get it. Why do they? To me, it's obvious. Why do people fight that?
Well, because it's scary. I mean, we don't make decisions because we're scared, right? Think of like a first-time home buyer, right? They're scared. There's 18 inches of paperwork. There's terms being flown around. They're spending $250,000, $500,000, $1 million. They've never done this before. They're scared. So he or she who takes away their scary is going to get the deal. That's just pure and simple. So it's really funny because my best friend is a multifamily investor and broker. And we had this exact same conversation. And I was like, listen, I need you on video. And he's like, and he has a face for radio. Like he wouldn't mind me saying that, but he's not the most animated, charismatic guy on camera. Now he's getting way better because he's done hundreds of videos. But as a result of him doing a bunch of those videos where he breaks down his own deals, he breaks down every day he goes into the 2 counties that he's a broker in and shows what came on the market and analyzes them, what came on the market and analyzes them. Now he has investors that are calling him saying, how do I get you to highlight my deal on your show?
Of course.
That gives him instant access to take down the deal before it ever gets to his show.
Right.
And he started with 0 subscribers on YouTube. And for a long time, he was getting 3 or 4 views, and he's still not getting a ton. I mean, he still gets a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. But at the end of the day, that is almost secondary because now people on Bigger Pockets is contacting him. He's being noticed and recognized, and people are saying, hey, how do I get you to highlight my deal? Well, tell me about your deal. He now has an opportunity to take down the deal before it ever gets to his show. I know for a fact, now that I'm thinking about this, I don't think you would mind me telling you this. He closed on an 8-plex several months ago that the guy that was trying to sell it saw him on YouTube. It was either YouTube or Facebook. I think it's YouTube because I don't think he's on Facebook. Saw him on YouTube, wanted to see if he could pay him to promote his property on his show. And before he could even get there, my friend was like, well, this is like in my wheelhouse. I want to buy it. He ended up buying the property. And here was the best part. He then did a video after he took it down. After he bought it, he started doing videos on the story. And then vendors in the area started catching wind and then started to offer to give him free services like pest control, junk removal, vending machines. All of these services started coming to him going, hey, that unit, that complex is in our service area. How can we get you to promote us? We'll give you free service. So he's now become quite a silly YouTube video can have a massive effect because remember, in real estate as investing, it's either, increase income or decrease expenses. It's pretty much them's the ways, right? So it's when we create and when people will say, well, I'm shy or I'm an introvert or I don't know what to say or whatever, that stuff you're just gonna have to get over. Because at the end of the day, your shy, introverted self is still going out and what? Going and knocking on some stranger's door?
Ugh.
I mean,
cold calling for 3 hours a day.
Yeah, you're such an introvert that you'll pick up the phone and call strangers knowing that you're going to be told to F off like 85% of the time. And the other 15% you're going to be hung up on.
Yeah, it's funny because it's funny to have Annabelle listening on this because we had this discussion personally the other day. But, I'm a shy guy by nature. I mean, to be honest, my favorite hobbies are reading books and swimming. Where swimming, you're underwater, you can't talk to anybody. And books, you don't talk to anybody. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Like, I don't need any more friends. I'm married, I have grandkids. I have a daughter and a son-in-law. I'm good, but I need to do business. And so when we started doing the video thing, I knew it was something I should have done for years. I should have done it for years and years. And I did an email, but I never did. And I remember I can't remember exactly when. I want to say about 3 years. It was I think it was during COVID when it first started, and I couldn't go to court anymore. And I was in one of your programs. You talk about the importance of video, and you challenged everybody on the call to do a video a day. And for some reason, you called me out on that. I'm like, how am I going to do that? I don't care, just do it. And it was kind of like, well, I could do it. I mean, you just record and you upload. I mean, who the hell's even going to see it? Doesn't like on one hand you're scared, on the other hand you go, well, nobody's going to see it. Well, then why are you scared? Nobody's going to see it. So I started doing videos, and it's amazing the leverage it has when people see you in video. You're a whole different person than when they've talked to you on the phone or maybe not met you yet. So how do you I watched you do it. What's the magic to get people? And I did it, and I know a lot of people in the class didn't, and a few did, and they're killing it. Mm-hmm. What do we do to get people? What do you get Annabelle to do a video every single day?
Start with this. Just know that doing nothing actually means you're behind. So every day that you don't do something, you're actually falling behind because the people that are doing stuff are incrementally going higher.
Right.
Nothing is going to change for any of us, for any circumstance. Nothing is going to change until the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same. So when someone says, well, I'm not doing videos, I'm like, awesome. Okay. Do you have a Monster account? Well, no. What's Monster? Well, you're going to be looking for a job soon. So it's cool. Just know that until you're in enough pain, meaning you're not making enough money, you're not spending time with your family, you're not getting to go hang out with your grandkids and your daughter and your son-in-law and your cousins, and you're not getting to go to church on a Sunday, or you're not getting to give money to the food bank, or you're not going to go save the ocean, or you're not going to get to go to the wedding in Fiji. Until that is more important to you than turning on a stupid camera and saying, hey, I'm here, let me help. Hey, you know what? Here's a list of terms that these real estate agents we use all the time: ARV, LTV, FHA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, rate and return, refi return, like hard money, soft money, loan money, private money. How about you just get on and say, hey, you know what? I understand that there are a bunch of terms in the real estate world that nobody really knows. Let me explain what one is. ARV. means for after repair value, right? Well, let's break that down. The reality is a bunch of people are going to find that valuable and helpful. And they don't need, and this is true story, Bill. You know who I'm going to talk about here. I have a client who is massive in the Texas real estate investing world, just massive. I just talked to him over the weekend. He came on and did a testimonial at Networking Riches this past weekend. He has raised over $100 million. He's got syndications. He's got funds. He's got a portfolio that goes on for days. He's only been down there for about 5 years. And you know what he did? He took his phone out, and every time he went and walked a house, he turned on, he's like, hey, well, let me see. I got to add some people to this. I don't really know what the deal is. Let me add some people. And, okay. And hey, you guys, here's this house, and look at all this crap all around here. And here's the dumpster. He's sweaty. He's not in particularly good shape. The camera's off his face half the time. This last set of videos, literally 2 weeks ago when I was in Arizona, he was doing walkthrough videos when I was driving home. So I was watching it. And afterwards, I would call him. I'm like, Rob, you got to take your hand off the microphone so people can hear you. But the reality is that he's doing that, and all these other agents are trying to go figure out how to get business, and they're being told, go door knock or go sit and cold call people. I don't know about anybody else. I could be wrong on this, Bill, and you might be in a different. It's much easier to pick up the phone and answer it than it is to pick it up and dial it.
100%.
That's just
100% more pleasant. I'd rather talk to people who want to talk to me than people who really don't want to talk to me, to convince them that they should talk to me. It's just, it's more pleasant. It's more enjoyable.
So let's take it for anybody. I'm going to use a realtor because we're in the real estate space at the moment, but anybody could do this. Like, especially if your business is geolocated, meaning you're in your own hometown and you don't go too far out of that. Go take your camera, go to your silly networking event, and instead of trying to hand out your business card to a bunch of people that aren't there to buy anything, why don't you go and take out your camera and do 2 to 5 minute video interviews of your local veterinarian, of the local real estate agent, of the local insurance agent, of this, and then go put them on a YouTube channel and say, hey, Diamond Bar veterinarian interviewed, Diamond Bar, blah, 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 Diamond Bar, so that when people are searching Diamond Bar, all they see is your face interviewing. They want to know who you are. Here's the weird thing, Bill. Like, I know this will sound silly, but I'm just sitting here thinking about this. I never really actually made this correlation until right now, but it's completely true. There is something we as a culture find mesmerizing about people that are on camera. Yep. Look at celebrities. Yep. Like, it's so funny. I used to be a film producer, and I produced a movie one time with an actor named Ed Begley Jr. Okay? Ed Begley Jr. No joke. 2 hours ago, an hour and a half ago, I was in the Whole Foods shopping, and I literally bumped into Ed Begley Jr. Wow. The guy's a regular dude. But somehow, because he was up on a screen, everybody wants to know him and ask him for his autograph and all this stuff and take his picture. He's the guy with the influence. The reason we want to have you on camera and doing interviews is to create your influence, create your own celebrity in terms. And you're like, well, but the camera puts on 10 pounds and I don't look good on camera. Hello. Let me just tell you this. The camera doesn't lie. It doesn't put on 10 pounds. It doesn't close your pores. It doesn't bake on your eyebrows. It just reflects light into a computer chip. That's all it does. And if you're willing to get up and go out into a networking event looking like that, then you sure as heck can be on a camera looking like that. There's more leverage because, Bill, how many people would you say are the Sizzler? 30? 50?
40. I was going to say 40.
40. Let me just ask you guys a question. So Bill rocks into the Sizzler. Okay. It's from 11 to 1. There's 2 hours. He lives a little out of the area. So it's an hour there and an hour back. He's now into the Sizzler 4 hours. Okay. 4 hours. Now, I haven't even taken the time it's going to take him to get showered, get dressed, and get ready. We're just talking drive time. Plus, it's going to cost him $15 or $20 for lunch. Sizzler. Okay. So he's going to have an opportunity to stand up in front of 40 people and maybe do a piece of business. Okay. Here's Bill doing this. He is doing this thing. We're 40 minutes in. We'll be out in under an hour. Is it possible, just possible, that with this going out on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, in his email, all of these places, is it possible that it's going to be seen by more than 40 people over its lifetime? You want to start talking about leverage, ladies and gentlemen, there it is.
Right.
One video gets seen by more than 40 people versus 4 hours with no result.
Yeah. No, in my channel today, I average 15 to 18 hours a day of watch time, 7 days a week. I only work 5 days a week. And so it keeps growing going forward. And people don't get, again, as investors, you go to these events, virtually everybody else there is a prospective interviewee, right? You go to a network event, there's an insurance guy, and you can interview him. There's a lender, you can interview him. There's a property management company, you can interview them. And then everybody will say, well, I want off-market properties. Well, don't you think the people you know have off-market properties? And if you influence them that you're an expert, they're going to call you up and say, hey, by the way, I had this property my aunt wants to sell. Should we list it? You want to buy it? We'll make an offer on it. I saw you doing these interviews at this event. You look at, you know what you're doing. That's the missed opportunity. We all think the stranger has the business. We don't know the people around us already have business we're letting go right through our fingertips.
Here's the secret sauce, you guys. Here's the secret sauce. Let's really pull it back. Here's the secret sauce. Title, escrow, attorneys, accountant, bookkeepers, pest control, junk removal, pool service. All these guys and gals know a property is coming on before it's even listed.
Yeah.
So check this out. Bill, what time we started this at the top of the hour? What time did we get on before and start connecting? 15 minutes beforehand?
Maybe. Not even,
okay.
I don't think 10 minutes.
You guys, here's the magic. If you're going to interview people in a format like this for YouTube, set it up so you get on the phone 15, 20 minutes ahead of time before the actual camera goes on. That's your relationship building time. That's where you get to say, hey, Bill, what can I do to help support you? What can I help? What can I promote for you? So that when the camera goes on, yes, you're getting all the leverage. It's the behind the scenes camera time that's really the most valuable, because at the end of the day, people, I hear this KLT, no like and trust, KLT, no like and trust. I call complete BS on the KLT entire model, because it leaves out the most important one, which is R. They have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you, but they also have to remember you. If they don't remember you, you're toast.
Right.
Because you can be the best looking guy, you can be the most trustworthy woman, you can be known all over the planet, but if nobody remembers you at the time that the deal is ready to go, you're toast.
Well, and all the more reason why you need social media and an email database, because odds are you meet somebody, they don't have a deal for you today, but they may have a deal for you in 6 months. But if you don't email them every week between now and then, 6 months from now when they have the deal, they don't know who you are.
They're not going to remember you. They don't remember you.
So how important is it to have a database of social media? Again, even for a real estate investor who wants off-market deals, there's no off-market. There are very rare off-market deals that you call them and they go, oh yeah, I'm a distressed owner. I need to sell. Buy it for whatever price you want. No, it's 6 months later they call you and say, I was talking to you back 6 months ago, and they'll call me up and I have to look at my notes real fast. Oh yeah, I know who they are. I remember who they are, but I have notes of my conversation from 6 months ago.
Well, look, it's all about speed, right? So at the end of the day, let's say I get an off-market property today, and Bill and I are competing for the same property. It's going to be who can close it the fastest, right? So Bill's like, oh, well, I need to go raise some capital. So, you know what? I'm going to get out my phone and, let me see who Johnny I can call, and maybe I'll call Johnny. Meanwhile, I built an email list of 4,000 people that have money or that are in business or whatever. I send an email out that says, hey, anybody want to make 7% on their cash? Interest only, 3 years, 3 points and 7%, second position on a multifamily, blah, 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 blah. Hit me reply. Boom. I've now made 4,000 or 5,000 inquiries with a click of a button.
Right.
And then someone else is like, Well, let me see. Let me go Google hard money lender.
So one of the things I do into all of those real estate investors and wannabe investors and people who are starting your real estate career, you got to have the fundamentals of a network. You have to have a database. You have to have, a way to collect information. You have to have things you do to that group of people to build business. That's what Casey teaches. He has an amazing program called Networking Riches. He does about monthly. I'll put a link here shortly with the details in it. Talk a little bit about what your goal is through the Networking Riches. You just had it this past weekend, so the next one's not probably till July, I imagine. But talk about that Networking Riches and what you do to help people. The way I look at it is you giving them kind of the fundamental skeleton business model they can start working on at that point.
Absolutely. It's all I've really done, Bill, is taken, when I look at the successes that I've had in my career, and I look at the things that I've done and the places I've been and the red velvet ropes, so to speak, I've been on the other side of, the opportunities that I've been given. If I look back and I go, well, how did all of that occur? How that formula is very strategic. It's very on purpose. It's very intentional.
Right.
And all we're really doing is walking people through that.
Right.
It's very simple, right? But I'm about high impact, right? So I'll give you an example. We do this, Bill, I know you do this sometimes with me. We did this at the event. I have everybody take out their phone and in 5 minutes, just text people that are in their phone, not trying to sell them something, just to touch base and say hi. We
Crazy.
did it this past weekend. And
Crazy.
then I took a sample of 20 people. There were about 300 that were sold. If I met, what does your business look like if you took 5 minutes a day on average, sent out 5 to 10 text messages just to people that are already in your phone just to stay connected, right? It's like if Annabelle calls me tomorrow and says, what's the first thing I'm going to do? I'm going to say, here's the thing. Go get a list of all your past clients and all the people you want to work with again. And I want you to text each one of them just to check in and see how they're doing. Well, but how's that going to turn into cash now? Well, you know what? It isn't. So you tell me what you're doing right now to produce cash. Right? I mean, right. That's always the funny thing. It's like, I need to produce cash now. Okay, well, the time you need to produce cash now is like 3 months ago.
Right. There's no solution to that problem, right? If you don't plant the tree and fertilize the tree and water the tree for a few months, it's never going to grow. You can't sit there and complain and say, I'm not going to plant a tree because I need a tree now. If you need a tree now, sorry, but plant one. You have one in 3 months
and be very strategic, you guys, when you're out doing something. So Annabelle does this amazing event called Agent Helping Agents. Aha, right? Aha. So I've had the unbelievable good fortune of being asked to come out there for the last couple of months and share a couple of things to help these guys sell more houses. If you were to ask Annabelle what made me obnoxious, I will tell you, because I don't leave there until I make sure that I have every single email address of the people that were in the room. Right? So there's only 2 ways to have a speaker come in there and speak. You're either going to pay them or you're going to give them the ability to contact those folks, see if they can help them later on. Right? So this agent helping agent thing, that thing is amazing. The people there are amazing. She's done an amazing job of inviting sponsors. Like, we didn't even get into the whole sponsorship thing, but at the end of the day, you guys, if you have an audience, there are people that will pay you to have access to that audience.
100%.
So if you have an audience of 50 real estate agents in a room because you run it, you own it, you control it, would a mortgage broker be willing to chip in $500 a month? Property management firm, title escrow, all those people. Yeah, you start collecting that. Now you're creating that. We have a client that just drives Bill crazy to some extent because it's friendly competition. I'll put that in quotations. But she started a Facebook group for
my frenemy.
What?
She's my frenemy.
She's your frenemy. I love that. She started a Facebook group because she wanted to connect a bunch of real estate agents together. As of Saturday, 3 years in.
Don't say it. Don't even say it.
She has just crossed over 190,000 real estate agents in her Facebook group. And she's built an email list of just over 60,000 real estate agents.
She only started the email list after she had 100,000 people.
Yeah, because she was stubborn. I mean, she was just waiting, right? No, but
I mean, that's the thing is amazing. She created 60,000 just in the last 6 months or so after she already had 100,000.
And now she does a weekly meeting for real estate agents and by the way, you guys, she's not an agent. She sells closets for Closet Factory.
Agents are her customers. So this is how she
Agents are her customers. But she also now provides a platform for all of them to connect and grow together. They do a virtual coffee every Thursday morning. It's like at 7:00 in the morning, our time. And there's 50 to 70 agents on there. And she brings in speakers and trainers and they buy stuff and she gets a cut and they buy. It is not that she is over the charts smarter than everybody else. It's just that she will actually do it.
Right.
And I think that is the reason. I'm going to try to keep myself in check here. The reason you bring on a coach or the reason you go to a mastermind or the reason that you bring in advisors and consultants and coaches to help you grow your business is so that you don't have to think. Right. So I have a client and she watches Bill and she watches Debbie and she watches a couple other people. And she called me and she's been with me for a few years. And she called me and she's like, I'm super mad. She was super mad. I said, okay, why? She goes, because I watch what they're doing and I'm not successful. And I need you to tell me why. What are they doing that I'm not? It was the exact question. What are they doing that I'm not?
I know the answer.
What
you told us to do.
Yeah. The answer is they're doing it. They're not asking a bunch of questions. They're not trying to challenge every little thing. The coaches, and take me out of the equation, your coach should be vetting things, trying things, experimenting with things so that when they bring things to you, you should just do it. Right. And if you're resisting, you're with the wrong coach.
100%.
That's what I told her. I'm like, listen, I know the stuff works. I do it. I watch others do it. I train it. I teach it. I'm part of some super high level masterminds where we talk about all this stuff.
Well, you also pick the brains for students to learn what they're doing. Like we're your laboratory too.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? You're constantly asking me, how'd you do this? Why are you doing this? How's that work? And then you bring that back to the group. So that's the power of the network. It's not just that you're so smart, which you are very smart, but you also have this laboratory of customers that we're all working together and sharing, and you're picking the best practices and sharing them. And I remember you asked me once, how did you do this on the video? And I said, because you told me to. Like, I don't even know how to even answer you. You told me to do this. Did I do it wrong or something? I did the best I could.
No, I think what I was asking was I think it was a technical thing of how do you stream it somewhere and somewhere? Oh. And because I didn't know. I was like, how is he really doing that? And then I found out what tool you were using. And I went, oh, well, I went and tested the tool and then we brought it back to the whole group. I mean, that's the other thing. I think, I think everybody should have a series of coaches and advisors. I mean, I use this example that everybody is a CEO of their own business. And if you're the CEO of a publicly traded company, you've got a board of directors, and that board of directors is there to help guide you, give you strategic input, kind of tell you what they've been through, what they haven't been through, where their experiences are, open doors for you, unlock access to things you don't have access to, and help to guide you. And what happens a lot, I hear, well, I'm with this other coach and I'm not getting anything out of them. Okay, well, are other students successful? Because if there are other students that are successful or other clients that are successful, it's you. Right. That's number one. But number two is for me, I mean, Bill has heard me say this a ton of times. Like, I'm like, listen, if you've got another coach, let me get on the phone with them and make sure that we're giving you the same set of circumstances in the same direction. Because the last thing I want is for you to have some other coach over here give you something over here. I give you the direct opposite. You're confused. And so nothing happens. And then you get to say, well, Coach A said this and Coach B said this, and I didn't know what to do. So I just did nothing.
Right. They love
right?
that one. So everybody make excuse. They pay for two people, give them an excuse not to do either one.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we got to bring this to a wrap up here because it's coming to the top of the hour, and I appreciate your time being with us. So, are you coming to are you the speaker at our July event for agents helping agents, or was that last month? Are you involved going forward?
I am not sure. I think Annabelle and I should probably have a conversation about that. And
I'm involved in that program, so I should know the answer too. I'm kind of embarrassed I don't. Okay, whether or not you are agents helping agents, first Friday every month, Diamond Bar at the Holiday Inn. Text or email me if you want a registration.
And you guys, it is a phenomenal. It's a lot of fun. The people there are super cool, and I have to say, I mean, this is a dumb little side note, but I eat at hotels literally 300 days a year, and I have to say that the coffee and the food at the Diamond Bar Best Western is literally Holiday Inn. Sorry, who they get mad. Is some of the best. It's great breakfast. You guys should come out for sure.
And it's free. Love to have you come to that. And then, of course, our sponsoring event is the LA Real Estate Investment Club, which is the second Thursday of the month, July 13th. Rick Sharga on real estate investing and uncertain economy. It's a free event. Casey comes to that regularly. You all should meet the vendors there. It's amazing to me. They all want to come hear the speaker. You get 50 people who make a living in real estate all behind the tables there. And for those of you looking for content, you can do 50 interviews there in about
I'm the total opposite. I go there. I get to meet all the vendors. I hang out with all the vendors. There's well over a couple hundred people there. I meet all the vendors. And the minute they start bringing the speaker up, I'm out.
I'm the same way. In fact, they introduced me and I leave because I like the people doing the business every day, the speakers. But it's a free event. I'm in center. It's in West LA. Again, LAProbate.com. Love to see you there. If you are, I'm the official podcaster there. Come up and say hi. And usually Casey's there. Casey, and if not, Casey has a bunch of people in our group who are there every single time as well. So you can see the plan in action. So again, real estate investors, you got to network. You need to have a system. Networking, which is a great tool to do that if you want that. Also, your website is Power Networking Tip. No.
Yeah, Power Networking Tips. So if you guys want like just some easy networking tips, I've got a free PDF. It's powernetworkingtips.com. This is what I tell people. I'm like, listen, when we email it to you, just print it off, put one copy in your car, one copy at your desk. Before you get on a Zoom, before you go to a networking event, open it up, read 5, 10, 15 of them. It'll change your mindset and you'll go in and it'll be way better than before you read it.
Fantastic. 100%. PowerNetworkingTips.com if you want to get the 120 tip PDF. Otherwise, Casey, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for all your help with me personally, everybody else in our group. And thank you so much.
And Bill, thank you for doing this. The stuff you're bringing and the caliber of content and the caliber of help that you bring other agents, it is no wonder why you have one of the fastest growing EXP teams in the country. Wow. And it is just awesome to watch. So thanks. Agents, if you need some help, contact Bill, for crying out loud.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hey, everybody, we do this every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. It's the LAREIC.com official podcast, the LA County Real Estate Investors Association. Love having you guys here. Call if I can help. My phone number's there on the social media at BillGrossEXP. Make it a great week. Make today your best day ever. Thank you, everybody.